What motivates me is not money, but it's beating my competitors. That's what motivates me.
Jack Cox has worked at Halfacre Construction Company since 1984, working in just about every position here at the commercial construction firm when his dad was president. In 1999, Jack took over as president and has since grown the Lakewood Ranch-based commercial construction firm into one of the most successful privately run commercial construction firms in the region. We sat down with Jack for some of his insight into what it takes to be a leading entrepreneur. Tell me about your very first job.
My very first job is a little bit embarrassing, but when I was 8, it's hard to believe at 8, we had a golf course near our neighborhood that we lived in, and I would walk to the golf course on the weekends, scour for golf balls. I would take them onto the course, clean them in the ball washer, and then I'd put them in egg cartons, and I'd sell them to golfers as they were coming off the tee. And depending upon the ball, I'd get 10 cents a quarter, maybe 50 cents for 3 type deal. And actually, I did it for several years and made a little bit of money on the weekends.
How did you even get that idea?
Don't know. I think just one day we were near the golf course, and I found some balls that were just lying around in there, and I'm like, you know, I could probably sell these back to the guy. I didn't even play golf, didn't even know anybody who played golf then. And the irony is now I play golf, and I would appreciate people stepping out of the woods trying to sell me golf balls. They'd probably find the balls that I lost in there. I had great mentors growing up. My dad and I were very close. He was an entrepreneur in this community and other places as well. I was close with my grandfather. He was also an entrepreneur. So I think part of it was the mentoring of being around some great people with a lot of energy that were always trying to do new things and new ways to improve on what they were doing. I'm not even sure I had a choice of what I was allowed to do. So this is what I did. Starting in 1985, I began working at Halfacre Construction, digging foundations for the concrete crew. Eventually, only because of an injury on the job site, I got moved in the office and was taught how to do some estimating. That was probably 1990. And then I continued to stay in the office for another 2 years, and then I went back out as a superintendent in the field. But except for a little bit of bartending in college, this was the only job I've ever had. My dad and I were very close, and then when I turned 29, we moved out to Lakewood Ranch, and Dad and I literally shared an office together. Our desks were about 3 feet apart. That was great. Yeah. I mean, working with your dad was fantastic. The most important thing, again, is one of the things my dad pointed out to me was when you have a challenge and you have to make a decision, the toughest decision, the toughest answer is typically the right thing to do. I was brought up and still believe today, the more you give, the more you receive. And I think that's been a big part of Halfacre Construction's success. One of the tips that I would give starting out in the construction industry is align yourself with good people, to work with good vendors, good subcontractors, get involved in some type of mentoring group, and that can be subcontractors and other general contractors. I've always found it very important to be friends with your competitors. You never know when you may need their help, and if you're friendly with them, then they will help you out. That's always been a big benefit for me. They have to learn to delegate, and that is a big challenge for especially entrepreneurs, because so many entrepreneurs, they're A-type personalities. I'm not one of them, but they want to control every facet of their business, and I feel that those are the businesses that don't succeed. You have to have people that you can delegate details. Of course, you're still responsible for everything, but you have to give certain employees the authority to make decisions for you, and I think that's critical.
How are you at making decisions, fast or slow?
Very quick.
You are?
Very quick on making decisions, and that's good and bad. I'm very good at multitasking, but sometimes I wish I would just waited a day before I answered or replied to, especially emails and texts. Those are the worst, because for quick people like me, you will fire an answer off, but it's better. I heard Joe Paterno say he wished they still had the rotary phones. Because it would give him more time. He would have to track down the number and just dial it, and more time to think on what he was going to respond. When professional golfers hit a bad shot, the difference between the pros and everybody else is when that ball goes in the water, they have totally forgotten about that shot, and all they do is concentrate on a good drop and putting the ball in the green from the next shot. Bad golfers continue to think about the shots that they had 3 holes ago, about how they blew a 3-foot putt. That's why they're not successful.